Just remember that every Sunday we do our stillness meditation at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, and our music and message will begin in about a half an hour, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So if you are tuned in right now, I welcome you, and I'm going to invite you to go ahead and get comfortable. Find a nice place to sit down, and whether you choose to sit lotus or Indian style, or whether you choose to place your feet firmly on the ground, either way, just find that comfortable place. If you need to draw the blinds or close a door to give yourself some serenity, and if there are any other devices that you might want to turn off besides this one, go ahead and do that as we are getting ready to turn within. Always remembering that meditation, by its own definition, is communion with spirit. So that's what we're doing. There's many different ways. And in our stillness, we get to exercise the muscle of no thought. I'll center us. We'll stay in the stillness, and then we'll come out in a wave of prayer. And I invite you to just relax. To do, if you prefer to do it as an open-eyed meditation, you're welcome to. But I'm going to invite you to close the outer eyes so that you can stretch the muscle of your clairvoyance of the inner eye. And with that being said, in that comfortable position, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin. As always, we begin by first giving ourselves permission to relax. Just saying to ourselves in our minds, I give myself permission to relax. As we deliberately invite, evoke, and allow the divine energies of peace and love, wellness and goodness, serenity and joy, beauty and grace to wash over us and to rise up from within us. As we take this time to commune with spirit, it means we are allowing ourselves to let go of the temporal world, to let go of time and space. And so I invite you to join me as we let go of the past and any energetic connections to it. As we let go of the future and any energetic projections to it. And we let go of the present as we open even more our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our souls to the eternal. We open to the eternal and we allow ourselves to be fully awake to our divine sensorium. To open the inner eye knowing it is completely safe. To awaken the inner ear, attuning to the still small voice. To opening our claircognizance, the knowingness of divine intelligence. And so I invite you, as we move deeper into relaxation, to become aware of your breathing without changing anything. Just becoming aware of the inhalation and the exhalation. If it is shallow, or if it is deep. A shallow breath might inhale to about your collarbone. A deep breath might inhale to your belly button or below. Wherever it is, just allow it to become fuller and fresher and wider and deeper. No efforting, just intending and allowing. I invite you to imagine your crown at the top of your head is wide open. And as you breathe, you can feel the breath coming in through the top of your head, tingling and traveling down along your spine into your hips, where it rounds forward at your tailbone and rises up the front of your body, making its way up to the top of your energy. Or feel your soul. From the top of your energy field, your soul energy, you can feel your breath coming in from your soul star, down through your crown to your hips. And then feel the exhalation rising all the way back to the top of your energy field. We are just feeling the breath soft. Some know this as the holy breath, and some see it with light coming in as they inhale. And they notice the breath of light. I invite you to feel it and see it and sense it as you draw your breath in, however it comes to you. On your next inhalation, imagine it coming from the highest point you could possibly imagine, from the very heart of God. Inhaling, drawing that holy breath in through your crown, down along your spine into your hips. Exhaling, feeling it rise up the front of your body, and releasing from your crown all the way back to the beginning. As we breathe the holy breath, the breath of light, you begin to feel a contagion of relaxation flowing throughout the entire body. Light as luminosity and weightlessness begins to fill every muscle and morsel of your beingness. In the tips of your toes and in your heels, we can feel an effulgent radiance, softening and strengthening all the muscles, ligaments, bones, and tissues. And that energy begins to rise, flowing up past the knees, through the thighs and hamstrings. Or it begins to swirl around in the hips. You can feel a wash of wellness, rejuvenating all the organs, all the muscles and bones and tissues. As we go deeper into timelessness, into grace, you can feel that energy filling your torso from your hips to your shoulders, and the entire physical body, going even deeper, rising even higher. Freedom and spaciousness begin to overwhelm you as your shoulders, the back of your neck, your throat center, all soften and strengthen. The face flooding with light, and the cheeks. Letting go of all expression, you feel your scalp and your crown opening even more. emotional body, recalibrating as waves of light ripple and roll into the emotional body. Wellness and strength, peace and love, rippling from the emotional body into the mental body. And it is here that we allow the mind to let go of all thoughts, all distractions, and the surface mind begins to merge with the higher mind. And we feel the energy moving from the mental body into the bliss body. Communing with the very heart and the very light of our soul, of God. And it is here that we allow ourselves to rest, to relax, to rejuvenate in the wordless realms, divine intelligence, and eternal peace and wellness. Continue to bathe in the light, bringing our awareness back to the breath. I invite you to feel and find the energy of your soul at the top of your energy field. And again, inhaling from the top of your energy field, from your soul star, drawing that breath in through your crown, down to your tailbone, to your root. Exhaling it back up, feeling the nexus point from your soul to the universe, our oneness with spirit, that part of our anatomy that lives outside of time and space, where infinite benevolent potential and possibility, infinite benevolent supply of all good. This is the meaning of the hem of the garment. We touch this. This is our soul energy. And as we bathe and breathe into this, we allow that luminosity, that light, to fill and thrill our heart centers. Allowing your heart center to blossom and open, to breathe and bathe in the holy light. For during our time in communion and stillness, we are rejuvenating and expanding our capacities to hold more good. We are to be fortified. This is a fortifying experience that brings us back to the beginning. That we allow ourselves to be more connected to the purpose and the passion of the eternal reality of all good than ever before. And so I invite you to join me as this begins to awaken to an awe of the grandeur, the brilliance, the beauty, the intelligence back of all life. As you remember and spontaneously begin to feel waves of gratitude. As we go deeper and higher into this vibration, we steep and step into the light, grounding heaven on earth, expanding heaven on earth very personally, very deliberately, to, through, and as our beingness. These energies begin to flow and glow, stimulate and activate the awakening, the remembering, and the truth that we are the beloved in whom God is so pleased. The great remembering of knowing that each and every one of us, an angel of the Most High, born from the very light, the very love, the very intelligence of God. That we, each and every one of us, harbingers, messengers, light bearers, we are the divine as a unique expression of brilliance. And as we attune, align to this magnificent eternal frequency, as we feel that which the divine is seeking to express to and through and as our beingness, as we connect with the law of creation and inspiration, beyond words, we feel the energy making its way down, not only through our crown, through our hearts, through our roots, but all the way down to your earth star, your 10th chakra at the bottom of your energy field. If you're sitting about a meter beneath the bottom of your chair, standing same amount beneath your feet, at the bottom lower outer edge, the south pole of your energy field, we ground heaven on earth, peace on earth, love on earth, wellness on earth, goodness on earth, prosperity on earth, harmony on earth, and we make it very personal. It happens to, through, and as our beingness. This is our nature. This is who we are. We embody this as a divine strength, as an optimism, as a faith. And we allow that to expand our capacities, to be unmoved by the temporal world. That we observe, but we do not absorb temporal frequencies. Divine strength, to be in the world, but not of the world, is what we are grounding. And as we move into the law of radiance, radiating that energy, It blesses and caresses all in our lives, all endeavors, all situations, all circumstances. And so I'm truly grateful to know that each and every one of us is coded and loaded in our bones, in our cells, in our genes, in our emotions, in our minds, with the eternal frequency of all good, with the eternal frequency of unconditional love, with the eternal frequency of our connection to infinite source and supply. And we ground our passions for the purest, holiest desires of the soul, passions of God through to and as us. This is where true freedom and joy resides. And we ground all of that as we slowly and gently come back into a lucid state of divine awareness. We recalibrate, we reset, we raise the bar. A new paradigm birthing itself right here, right now. Truly grateful that individually and collectively we have said yes to a greater and grander experience of holy light, of goodness, wellness, prosperity, bliss, cooperation and harmony with everything and everyone. We bring that energy down to our Earth Star, we ground it so, we claim it so, we move into divine right receivership, accepting it so. In deep and abiding thanksgiving and devotional faith, divine expectancy, we release the prayer, we allow it to fulfill itself through and as our beingness. And we agree by saying, and so I let it be. And so it is. Amen. And as you open your eyes, as you come back into this space, I welcome you back. Again, if you're just tuning in now, I'm Reverend Keith welcoming you. We've just completed our meditation service and we're getting ready for the music and the message. We've got a little bit of a surprise for you this morning. We're going to take just a couple minutes to reorganize and get the set changed, smidge. So go ahead if you need to run to the restroom. Be back here in 2 minutes and we are going to start our service. Peace and blessings. We'll see you in just a couple.
Good morning, Soul Center. I am so happy to be with you this morning. I've missed you all so much. And I can't really see all you beautiful out there, but I do get to send you lots of blessings and love to all you beautiful emanations of God. So thank you for having me today, Reverend Keith. We do have a couple of really good announcements, really juicy announcements. We have a couple of classes starting soon. One of them is Reverend Keith's Meditation, A Joyful Practice, which is an amazing class if you haven't taken that. And that'll start Wednesday evenings, August 14th. It's a 4-week class. And we're also just really pleased. August 12th. And then we're really pleased that Kim Stanwood Terranova is going to teach her first class on her book, The Technology of Intention. And that class is a 5-week class. And of course, Reverend Keith has his really beautiful morning, daily affirmative prayer call every morning at 9:30, 6 mornings a week, except for Sundays, of course. And it's just an absolutely beautiful way to start your day. I really highly recommend it. It just really gets you going for your day. And we continue, to be so grateful for our Course in Miracles class. It's also online on Zoom, information on the website, but it's Tuesday nights. And that's facilitated by Akili, an amazing facilitator for the course. And I also wanted to invite you, we've been forming soul circles, which is a way for us to connect with our soul family and make new friends. And it's not too late to join a soul circle, so if you're interested, if you want to make that connection, please email me at info@soulcenteroc.com, and we'll be happy to get you in the right circle for you. And with that, I'm going to just hand it over to Jerome for our reading and affirmation. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, everyone. Our reading this morning is from Paul Perini, entitled Real Happiness. Real happiness empowers you to live the life of joy and purpose that you were meant to live. Real happiness is not based on how we appear to others or what others think about us. Happiness is an internal state, not an external condition. It is not about surface things like money, lifestyle, possessions, role, or image. It is not about what we do or what we have, but about what we are and how we feel about ourselves. Another important characteristic of real happiness is that it is not a static state. It is not just a goal that we aspire to. It is a dynamic process. Most of us are in the process of becoming happier, or to be more precise, happier than we have been in the past. So how do we maximize our potential to be happy? How do we take the next steps on our journey of self-actualization? To be really happy, we need to heal our pain. How do we heal? We learn to love and accept ourselves unconditionally. We learn to bring love to the wounded parts of ourselves so that we can heal and stand in our power as authentic human beings. There are false beliefs that need to be challenged and hurts that need to be healed so we can open our hearts fully to love and to life. Once we are able to bring love to ourselves, bringing love to our loved ones, our world, to our human family becomes a lot easier. Let us pray with Reverend Keith.
Oh, thank you, Jerome. Very profound reading, very true. We take that in as we move into the prayer field, and so I invite you to join me as we move into this field, in a field of gratitude. You may become aware of things you are grateful for. That person in your life, that situation that feels so delicious. We open into that, or you may just feel the frequency and the vibration of gratitude, knowing that it brings us closer and closer to infinite beauty, infinite grace. How grateful I am to know that the universal presence, the knowingness, the wisdom, that which we call God, that is synonymous with life, that is synonymous with goodness and brilliance and bliss, we open to that. We deliberately open our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our souls. We allow ourselves to breathe the breath of God, to feel and sense to open the eye, the inner ear, that we may see with God's eyes and hear with God's ears. That we may know with the divine mind that providence should always direct us, and remember the truth that each and every one of us, created as an angel in the flesh, remembering that angelic light is born of singularity, it is brilliance, it is of a God, and we are that, each and every one of us, born in the image and the very likeness of the holy light of God, and we allow ourselves to feel that and know that even more profoundly than ever before. It awakens and it expands us, and it automatically flips the switch of blessings. We take a moment as we open into this field, and we know that we are to not only receive our blessings, we are to bestow our blessings. And so I bless each and every one of you streaming right now, those who stream in on the archives, and I invite you to be in that receptive mode, to receive your good even more profoundly. So I bless this service. I give thanks for our beloved Patricia being here, blessing her, blessing Jessica, blessing all of you streaming in, blessing all of our team leads, blessing our soul circles, blessing the upcoming classes, blessing all of your endeavors individually and collectively, blessing our center, knowing we are birthing into something new, a new paradigm, is blessing all of our brothers and sisters in all spiritual centers around the globe, from all cultures and all colors, from all races and all religions. We bless everything and everyone with goodness and wholeness and wellness. And we know that cooperation is what undergirds all life. So we bless into that, we step into that, blessing all of this. And knowing that we are good. And it is from this place of blessings and blessings we extend it out, and we let it be. Amen.
Now we'll do our agape affirmation as a call and response. I'll speak a line, and then we'll repeat it back together. The presence of God emerges in mighty and marvelous me.
The presence of God emerges in mighty and glorious ways through me.
I am a carrier wave of infinite possibilities.
I am a carrier wave of infinite possibilities.
My life is ablaze with beauty, health, and wholeness.
My life is ablaze with beauty, health, and wholeness.
The quality of is activated within me right now.
The quality of abundance is activated within me right now.
Peace is the seed thought of all my actions.
Peace is the seed thought of all my actions.
Gratitude is the song of my soul.
Gratitude is the song of my soul.
And so it is. Amen.
So it is. Amen.
All right, Soul Center, we've got another surprise. Today it's surprises. We've got Patricia here, and we have got the Jessies. The two Jessies are coming forward. Our beloved Jessie Godoy, and we also have Jessie Campbell coming forward to tantalize you and bring you even to a deeper space and place. We're so grateful to have them. They're coming on in.
Your musical chairs. Musical chairs. All right. Hello, everyone. In the words of Eddie Murphy and Golden Child, I am very happy to be here. Oh no, that was Coming to America.
Coming to America.
Yeah, all right. Hey, I know the country, the world is dealing with a lot right now, but I got to tell you from my own experience, We have to learn to smile through it all, count our blessings when and where we can. That likeness is what we draw to ourselves. So, Jesse and Jesse, smile. Smile, heart is breaking. Smile, even though it's aching. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. When you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile at me tomorrow. You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll find that life is so worthwhile if you just smile. Makes you smile, doesn't it? I know. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life is so worthwhile if you just smile.
Ah, how good that is. Good morning, Soul Center, and just absolute gratitude for the Jessies. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you both, Jessies. We are so grateful to have you here. I'm grateful to have you here. I'm Reverend Keith, welcoming you to our Sunday service. We're getting ready to rock and roll. What a great great rendition. Just really, as I've been saying for weeks now, when you're here in person, it opens your heart. It just melts you. So we are just grateful and blessed to have Patricia with us. Sweet surprise. I didn't even know she was coming. That's how it was really a surprise. So we're just grateful to have her here. That energy, and we're grateful for our beloved Jessica who's streaming in right now. Good morning. And again, grateful for all of you who have been serving as we're getting ready to go deeper into our spiritual evolution. Remembering we're part of the agape movement. We're part of the new thought, ageless wisdom, the ancient teachings which state that God, omnipotent, omnipresent, the same today as yesterday, as 1,000 years ago, as 10,000 years ago, meaning no measure by time or space, but God is a good, bliss, grace, beauty. And in our teachings, we know that the very crux of what it states in every sacred text around the world about being born in the image and likeness of God, that is what we are to embody and to know and to experience and to express more than anything else. That is what our teachings ask you to do. For when you incarnate into form, when you get to participate in this game called life, it can become so compelling to think that this is actually the real reality. The real reality is that you are an exquisite emanation of divine magnificence beyond your wildest dreams. And so we ask you to participate in the radiant expression of that on a regular basis, which means in human form we use our spiritual practice to bring us up into infinite benevolent possibilities. This is the very tenet of ancient wisdom, and the new thought movement is to bring it and allow it to be fresh and alive, because God is new and fresh and alive all the time, as are you, except when you're feeling stale and rote and tired and lethargic and maybe get frustrated or irritated. Now that's when you want to do what our theme of the month which is fanning the flames of your soul. We got to fan the flames. We got to keep them going, so that you can have the most beautiful experience of heaven on earth in this world, in this life, in your body, right here, right now, which means you have to disregard to a degree what is going on in the world, and to that degree what I mean is disregard of taking any of it seriously, where you actually start to believe that what's going on out in the world has any relevance to the truth, the capital T truth, and move into a place where you bring and channel eternal magnificence into the world, so that you can take it all with a grain of salt, that you can look out into the world and you can know what's true and what's false with your divine sensorium. We got to turn up the divine sensorium, and so that brings us into alignment with the universal destiny. Each of us shares the same universal destiny: enlightenment, wholeness, spiritual mastery. That is coded in your bones and in your tissues. You are to rise into the greatest, grandest experience and expression of who you are ever. That is a shared destiny that we all have. Our topic for today is your destiny. Name it, aim it, claim it. Those are the 3 steps that you want to be cognizant of while you're on this path, in this body and in this life. It's not for something for someone else to do. It's not for something you'll do later. It's not to do, like I used to say, why do today what you could do tomorrow, which is just an endless cycle of putting something off into the future. Oh, why should I be a spiritual master today? I'll be a spiritual master tomorrow. Why should I heal that relationship with so-and-so today? I'll heal that relationship with them tomorrow. Well, we all know that that's just the ego's way of avoiding and perpetuating and delaying the inevitable. If you want to have beauty and love and grace and prosperity in its purest forms, if you really want to know what it's like to be in the world but not of the world, that little phrase right there is enormous. It is what we're all after. It's part of your destiny. Your destiny, but we've got to name it. You got to name what it is you're looking for. You got to be able to say, in essence, that I am choosing to commune with my soul. And when your soul gives you the information, you name it. And then you got to claim, you got to aim for it. You got to use free will and free choice to choose it. You got to aim for it. And then you have to claim it. sounds very simple, but oftentimes we get thwarted or we get kind of thrown off track because we just start to believe that the world of effects is actually true. We look out into the world right now, we are in a cocoon chrysalis that is just thriving to expand into a new paradigm. So many things have been coming up. You know, always, no matter what we're doing, no matter what year it is, no matter what time it is, there's always going to be a primordial urge to take you to your destiny of spiritual mastery. But if you're sleepwalking, if you don't understand the divine language, if you're not completely cognizant to that which you need to wake up to, if you don't know what to name, if you don't know where to aim, and if you don't know what to claim, you could be on a perpetual cycle of pain and suffering. And we want to move from pain to passion. We want to allow ourselves to move into a place where passion is what pulls us. Passion in your soul. And I'm not talking about a passion where sometimes we get very passionate about a project we're working on. Or maybe we get passionate about a person in our lives. I'm talking about the capital P passion. When you're passionate about your soul, you're passionate about what it is that is seeking to express through you. And so on an individual level, we want to name it, aim it, and claim it so that we can feel that goodness in our own beingness. But where we get thwarted sometimes is sometimes it's hard to name it. Sometimes it's hard to claim it or aim it, and sometimes it's hard to claim it because we start believing what's going on out in the physical world. There was a gentleman that I was working with not too long ago, and if you allow your pain to influence your choice, then you're not going to name it, and you're not going to aim it, and you're not going to claim it. You're going to be claiming something completely different. He was somebody that came to me because he was suffering from dysfunction in his family. His children and his wife were getting very frustrated with him, and he noticed that he was getting a little bit angrier and a little bit more on edge. And he was actually forced by his family by the threat of, if you don't take care of this, we're moving on. And that was a threat worthy enough of him to, okay, I'll explore healing this pain. One of the things that brought it on was he noticed that in his household, when somebody would come in and slap down some books on a table or slam a door, and it would make any kind of a thumping or popping sound, he would just get so put off, and he would yell and scream at his family and basically set the edict that you are not allowed to slam a door, and you are not allowed to throw down books, and you're not allowed to crack or pop anything. And you would think maybe on some level, you've got children running around, you've got somebody who comes in and they slap something down and you get jolted or startled. Maybe to some degree you say, well, that makes sense. Maybe we ought to set this rule that you shouldn't slam things or pop things down. But as it turns out, there was more to it. The reaction was greater than the incident. In many cases, the reaction was so big that what is creating more disharmony and more disrespect and more discord in the family dynamic. And he wasn't willing to take responsibility. All he was doing was naming where there was pain and aiming towards a temporal solution. And a temporal solution is always going to fall apart, which doesn't allow you to claim what you're really after. And because this kept getting worse, and the dysfunction and other things that were putting him on edge and setting him off, and so he had determined, his wife noticed, that she really believed that it was PTSD from when he had been in the Iraq War. And so those pops were embedded in his subconscious that set off an explosion with his own beingness for all of the things that he had seen and witnessed during his time on the front lines in those wars. And so this is where you see a dynamic where my pain and my problem starts to ripple out and affect and touch other people. Well, as long as you don't throw things things down or slam a door, I'll be okay. Which is just a way to work with the issue, to work around the issue. There's no true healing taking place there. And then it turns out that all of those popping and that noise even went back before the war. There was times when he was little where he was chastised by his parents, and as we started to do the inner work and to start because this all feeds into something is against me. The trauma that was associated from being in the war, from what he saw, people being killed and hurt and traumatized, that was one layer of that. But going further back, strict household that he was brought up in, where his parents were very strict. You can't go here, you can't do this, because they had worked their issues into their world. And a lot of us try to control things. We try to go into the world and we'll control things like, if you don't do this and you don't do that, and if this is just the way it is, then I'll be fine. That kind of control is a recipe for disaster in your own beingness. We want to rise above that, and the only way to do that is to stop naming and aiming in the temporal world and start to bring our vision up to the divine, to our soul, so things, so that we may thrive. But sometimes we have to name, we have to identify where there may be an issue in our lives. Sometimes we have to, as we talked about last week, we have to pause and reflect so that we know what it is that needs to be cleared, so that we can rise into a greater and grander idea of the primordial call of your soul. So when we're talking about today, naming it and aiming it and claiming it, we're talking about let your passion be what pulls you, the call of your soul be what pulls you. Now, it might even seem on a microcosmic level, but what we're beginning to describe is spiritual selfishness. Because when you thrive, everyone thrives. But what's going on right now is not only do you have to name and aim and claim for yourself, get spiritually aligned, which is sometimes going to ask you to do things that your ego doesn't want to do. Go for help. He didn't want to get therapy. He didn't want spiritual counseling because he was managing the situation. If you just don't do that, I'll be fine. But that snowballs out of control because we all know there's a divine inertia not only pulling you to your destiny, but there is a healing inertia that is pulling you to heal anything that is out of alignment with wellness, with homeostasis, with prosperity. And so many people sometimes you hear this story about how, I had a client once who had a broken leg, and she was walking down some stairs and fell, and the leg broke, and then after that, there was some really wonderful things that happened. And she said, well, if I hadn't broke my leg, then I wouldn't have had this and this and this, because all these other people started showing up in her life, and all these forms of kindness were coming out of this, which was something really wonderful. And it led her to a new opportunity by one of the connections she met with one of the people that she wouldn't have met if it hadn't been where she had broken her leg. And so she said, well, sometimes I guess you have to go through something arduous in order to have something wonderful. And sometimes we do this in our spiritual communities where we say, oh, I had to go through this horrible experience, but look what it yielded. And there's something very good about that. But let's be clear, no matter where you are, no matter what is going on, you always want to, if something bad happens, if something happens through crisis, yes, indeed, you want to look immediately as fast as you can for what is good in all of this. But did something bad have to happen to get you there? That's not a truth. You can grow, as Reverend Michael say, you can be pulled by the call of your soul, or you can be pushed by the pain. So when we are being pushed by the pain and we hit a critical mass where we now are being forced into something new, we're going to look for whatever's good and not perpetuate it by complaining and bemoaning what is bad, because we know that just gets us more of what is bad. But did something bad have to happen? And by bad, meaning incongruent with peace, love, harmony, prosperity, and homeostasis. Sometimes, people decide that they need to learn about prosperity by going through poverty. I actually went through that myself. There was years where, in the first years of my life, the first couple decades, because I actually grew up in a family that was quite well off. but I had a false idea of what prosperity was because I lived under the aegis of my dad was just a very good provider, so he was very generous with giving us money, making sure we had all our needs met. But oftentimes it wasn't enough, and oftentimes I didn't appreciate it. When I was growing up, I did not appreciate my allowance. I did not appreciate when my dad paid for me to do all kinds of different amazing and wonderful things. And I also was absorbing his work hard ethic. You gotta work hard. So I had a false idea of what prosperity was, not even knowing that I had a definition of what prosperity is. And when I had to go out on my own and make it into the world on my own, where I started to make my own way in the world, I did it in a very hard, arduous, and difficult way. When I stopped doing it in hard, arduous, and difficult ways, the prosperity disappeared. There was a few years in my life where I was really, from many perspectives, it wouldn't look so bad, but it was looking pretty desperate, where thought might lose the house, thought we might lose this and that and whatever, and it felt pretty scary for a moment. And so I was learning through adversity, learning through pain, and it took me a good long while to realize the importance of circulation and generosity and appreciation and tithing. These are main ingredients. These are vibratory fields that allow it to be sincere, that allows you to move into the frequency of understanding that God is your source and your supply. It's not some random thing that some people are wealthy and some people aren't. It is something that you want to become aware of and appreciate. I needed to appreciate it. So I learned through pain, through several years of really scrambling and soul searching. And it wasn't until I woke up and decided to really get in the game and do my spiritual practice and to understand that debt is always associated with doubt. And we want to get rid of our doubts. We want to heal our doubts. And we want to know that God is our source and our supply. So I moved into an appreciation. And as soon as I moved into the appreciation of what source and supply is, of what it is to be connected with that infinite supply of all good from the divine, everything in my life started to appreciate, started to go up. And I started to understand the purity of that. Did I need to learn it through that avenue? I could have gone into a place where spontaneous knowingness lifted me into the appreciation without having to learn through experience. Now, there's nothing wrong with learning through experience. Experience can be a great teacher, but I want to stress that that is not the way you have to learn how to do something. You can spontaneously evolve yourself. If you want to move into the quantum field and move from one paradigm to the next, then you got to pull yourself out of the temporal world, because the world I was describing earlier was predicated on time and space and temporality. When you move into the temporal world to get your experiences, it could take you a lifetime to have that experience. When you move into the spiritual world of spontaneous knowingness through meditation, through prayer, through cultivation, through reflection, you can have a knowingness that takes you into the appreciation, and you may have just saved yourself years, if not decades, if not a lifetime, in growing into what time and space would have taken so long to experience. So I'm imploring you that as you move into, as we go deeper, this is what our spiritual community, this is what fellowship is to allow ourselves to be able to lean into each other and know that once we kind of steep and step into a greater experience in our own energy field, once you begin to comply with the law of creation and the law of transmutation, when you are so connected to the law of creation, the energy of your soul star makes its way down, and you yield and you obey. Obey. Now, to some people that might sound great, and to some people that might sound like, ooh, obey what? I don't obey nothing. I only listen to myself. If you're listening to your pain body, if you are obeying the decisions of your fears, your lacks, and your limitation, then you have surrendered to a master that you do not want to go to bed with. You want to rise into a place where true freedom is. And like it says in Scripture, we want to make sure that we know that no one can serve two masters. You will either hate one or love the other. And meaning that you can't be serving two masters, where part of me is serving in the temporal world and working out of my fears, where part of me is doing something from my spiritual nature. Now, we can do that, but you will feel a little bit like you're going crazy, like you're going back and forth. When you move into the singularity of I'm choosing to heal through grace, I'm choosing to recognize and have spontaneous revelation, that brings anything that needs to be healed out of experience and into revelation, and that's where freedom is. That's where you could look at an issue and be like, oh wow, if I had a fear of heights, I could be like, oh wow, I have a fear of heights, but something good is happening here. Something's going to lift me into a place where I don't have that fear anymore. Like the gentleman who knew, like, ooh, boo, that when they're slamming those things down, I'm having this reaction in my beingness. Something's not right here. If he took responsibility and said, I want to do something before the pain of the threat of your family leaving you came along, he could have had a spontaneous knowingness. Ooh, I picked up a lot of trauma when I was in Afghanistan or Iraq, and I also picked up a lot of trauma from when I was a child. If you paused and reflected, we can move into a place, and yes, we sometimes need to do that with someone else, which is why we have spiritual practitioners and healers in our field that help us to move and bring those things from our blind spots into some place where we can feel true freedom, where we understand what a reaction is. We want to move away from reactionary living. Reactionary living means that you're reacting from your pain body, and then you're going to put that forward into the world. Now, sometimes, as you heard me talk before about, sometimes there's the dust bunnies. There's the little things that don't seem like they're that big of a deal, and we want to make sure we get all of that cleared from our energy body. But we're also being asked, some of those dust bunnies they move out from your personal field and they move into the field of the collective. And knowing that, as we were talking about last month, all the different energy fields that we're part of, there's your energy field, there's the energy field of you and your significant other, whether that's your best friend or a soulmate relationship, whatever that is. There's the next layer, which is your true biological family. Then there's your soul family, where you spend fellowship with. It might be the family that you picked. And then there's the family of the collective that moves out even further, where we start to move into society. Well, right now, that field of energy is calling on us. There's a lot of things going on in the world that are causing us to wake up, and some of us actually think that it doesn't pertain to us. Maybe you live in some sort of a bubble somewhere, or you're trying to live in a bubble somewhere where you don't think what's going on with all the race issues has something to do with you. It has something to do with everybody. We're all involved. We're all connected. We're not paying attention to the temporal world. In our practice, we're telling you to open up to the true reality so that we are connected to a place and a space in this world where we see the world where there is no racism, where every one of our brothers and sisters celebrates the love and the diversity of all of us together. So if there's any part of us, if there's a dust bunny within our own psyche where we think like, oh, that doesn't pertain to me, yes, it does, because if you're alive and you're breathing and you're in a human form and you're a soul, it pertains to you. And we want to rise up into a greater and grander. Part of that is if you name it, it's like, oh, if you're seeing it in the news, if you're seeing what's going on with the protests and things of that nature that have been going on for thousands of years, what are you doing to name closer to us what's going on with my prosperity, what's going on with my health, what's going on with my creativity? Those are things we look at very close to us, spiritual selfishness, and that's all good. The more fortified you are, the better it is. But we also have to name, aim, and claim for the collective. It's not good enough. All of the sages, all of the masters around the globe since the dawn of time have always held into a space for others. We have to hold into a space for others what they might not be able to hold for themselves. So we, as spiritual masters in training and in instantaneous knowingness, because you're not only training, meaning that your ego is catching up with your soul, but you're also immediately a spiritual master because all that mastery is within you. You're just revealing it. You're not learning how to be a spiritual master. You're revealing your spiritual mastery. You have to reveal your spiritual mastery by healing that which keeps you from it, so that you are not serving two masters. You are serving one master, and that is the master of your your soul. So we keep choosing our way. We use free will and free choice. And so that we know there's been so much cap and our divine discernment goggles so that we can see with God's eyes. We have to awaken our divine sensorium. I heard some people talking and they were so upset when the protests were going on that they were saying, oh, but there's those people that were doing the vandalism and whatever. Whatever it means to you, you need to decipher and discern there are different things happening at different times. The vandalism had nothing to do with the protest. The protest called by our brothers and sisters to rise into a oneness and a greatness and asking us to hold a vision of a world that works for everyone, where we hold the vision that there is no racism in the world. We gotta name that, we gotta aim to it, and we gotta claim it, and we gotta ground it, because claim it means ground it. So we want to hold into that. And then the vandalism, that's a whole separate issue. That's something, those people, we still have to hold them in our consciousness as well. We have to name, aim, and claim for them. We have to name, aim, and claim for everyone. Everything that's going on with COVID, we have to go ahead and we see there's a whole from someone out in that world, and whatever grabs your attention is what you are responsible for, not only individually, but in the collective, so that you can join into taking a greater mastery. Mastery means that you've moved from being self-absorbed into being self-observed, where you can observe what's going on but not absorb what's going on. Many people, you'll know when there's an issue going on when you absorb stuff and now you feel tense and stressed. That means something's going on in your beingness that needs to be healed. They didn't cause the tension or the stress in your beingness. Whatever you're holding on to got exacerbated by it, which means we need to heal that and reveal the truth and step into something greater. We want to move, so we move from not absorbing to observing, so that we're not so self-absorbed. Self-absorbed is, it's all about me and what are you doing to me? And self-observed means I can observe everything and know, okay, what am I bringing to this? What consciousness am I bringing to any given situation? And remembering, we're not bringing it from the temporal world, from time and space, from duality. We're not bringing it from out here. We're bringing it from up here for ourselves and for everyone in the world. That's what we're checking into. That's how we name, aim, and claim who and what and where we are going, and allowing passion, not pain, to be what pulls you. Passion of your heart and soul will always bring you to the right decision. Sometimes that decision, again, if you're serving against the ego, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to heal that relationship. I don't want to get help from someone. But you're going to have to acquiesce, because the destiny is inevitable. Our destiny into wholeness is inevitable. We're going to have to rise into who we truly are. And so I'm going to invite you to join me today, and we're going to proclaim and declare whatever needs to be healed, because I can tell you there are things that need healing in your beingness that you aren't aware of. They're in your blind spots, and whatever that is, will you join me, as I've done time and time again? I choose, in benevolent and beautiful ways, I choose to allow my passion to pull me, and I choose to always allow myself to grow in spontaneous knowingness, that I can allow that knowingness to give me the information I need as opposed to the experience. That's what we're all going to choose right now. We're going to choose to grow through spontaneous knowingness and passion, so that we don't have to go through arduousness and painstaking difficulties, that we move into a greater and grander vision and version, and that we hold it not only for ourselves, but we're holding it for everyone else. And we're going to do that as we get ready to turn within right now. Right now, we're going to move into a space and place of spiritual selfishness. We're going to invite you to just bring your awareness to your own beingness, to your own body temple, your emotional body, your mental body, your karmic body. And as we come before the altar of God Almighty in a field of gratitude, knowing that no matter where we are, we can always return home to the beginning. To the beginning we return so that we may transform and transmute anything of the temporal world and rise into the greatness and the grandeur of the real reality of eternity. We return home right now, so I'm truly grateful that each and every one of us is proclaiming and declaring through our intention, through our choice, that we grow, heal, and expand in benevolent and beautiful ways. We choose to remember the truth that as each and every one of us is born in the image and likeness of God, that right where we are, God is, good is, love is, and that spontaneous knowingness is available to us at the temporal level as we align with the truth of our divine beingness, beyond our name, age, race, religion, gender, situations, titles, labels, or circumstances. There is a divine spark of light that has never been hurt or harmed, and we are always lifted, guided, united, and connected by this holy light. We say yes to this, that we let passion be what pulls us in the direction of the liberation of our soul. And so I'm grateful to speak into this, knowing that the very strength, the omniscient knowingness, the wisdom that governs the universe, the love, the omniamorous love that is everywhere, the omnipotent power that is everywhere in every space and every place, and that omnipresence of God is within us. And we have said yes to a greater and grander experience of this goodness as it has its way, as it illuminates through our divine sensorium, that we see with God's eyes, we hear with God's ears, and we know with the divine mind, and that we are available to spontaneous benevolent healing, spontaneous benevolent knowingness, for this is the way, the only way that the universe works. We surrender to this, and as we steep and step into a greater and grander experience of prosperity in our lives, as wellness in our lives, as clarity for our brothers and sisters around the world. We hold it for our friends and family members. We hold it for our colleagues and acquaintances. And we hold it for those who can't hold it for themselves, that might be going through a challenge right now. We hold them in our hearts and in our awareness. And so I'm grateful to know that we have all the power, everything we need right here within our beingness, within our word, activating the intelligence, awakening to it, and we bless. We bless all peoples of all cultures, of all races, of all religions, of all cultures, of all nationalities around the globe. Right where they are, God is, good is, love is, peace is. We hold it so, we know it so, we claim it so. And we know that we live in a cooperative universe. There is no life if there is not cooperation. Cooperation undergirds all life. So we step into that vibratory field of cooperation in our physical, emotional, and mental bodies, in our karmic bodies, and in our body of affairs. We allow the body of affairs and all relationships to be up-leveled into a greater, grander experience of mutual beneficial love, reverence, and respect in every way, shape, and form. We claim it so, we bless it so, we let it be so, we move into a space of divine receptivity. And we allow ourselves to ground heaven on earth, peace on earth, love on earth, wellness on earth, beauty on earth, mutual magnificent grace on earth for everything and everyone. We ground it so, we proclaim it so, we allow it to be so by saying, and so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Amen. Amin. Ashe. Aho, Mahalo, Shalom, Hotep, and Hallelujah. Just let it be easy. There's no difficulty in the divine. We step into the ease in our spiritual practice. That's how we do it. And like I said, the topic of the day, our destiny, we got to name it, aim it, claim it. Those are the 3 steps. We got to choose into that. I'm grateful for all of you being here today. We're getting ready to move into our time of tithing, participating in our conscious giving. So I'm going to invite you to go ahead and if you aren't on our soulcenteroc.com website, well, that's where you'd want to go if you want to hit the donate button. Safe and secure. You can set up auto tithe where it goes on a regular basis. I'll tell you, I got to be very frank with you. We've been doing per month. I don't know what happened, but it seems like traditionally in summer there seems to be a dip. So I am going to put out there, we still have our overhead and our expenses. So whatever you can do to kind of pitch in and support our community. We've got lots of things that we participate in, and we know we're holding in our community all needs met, and that we are still moving and rising into our building that we're moving into when this is all said and done. That's what we are called to do. That's what the vision is. So I'm inviting you to text to donate if you might. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, text GIVE to area code 669-342-2157. You can text GIVE to area code 669-342-2157. You can also go to soulcenteroc.com if you want to look up the address so that you can mail a check-in. We would love that. No fees associated with that. Or you can hit that beautiful orange donate button, which is scroll down on the home page there, and you can securely donate. And we appreciate those of you who have been really going the extra mile and supporting us. For those of us who, some of you have been going through maybe being put on furlough, etc. So we really appreciate that. We plan to come back with a bang, even more so because this is the chrysalis time that we're emerging into something more wonderful. As you go ahead and get that tithe together and hold it in a place of giving from the overflow. It is not my supply I'm giving from, it is the divine supply that I'm circulating with, and we're expanding your capacity to hold more good. And while you're doing that, we're going to invite the Jessies to come back in and to bless us with their gifts and their passions, and we're grateful for that.
So great. How can I sit down? Reverend Keith, you got a gift, man. That was awesome. I love it, love it. Well, let's do this. I think during this time of shift and transition that we're all experiencing, I think it's so important who they are. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be me and not try to be someone else or anything else other than a bigger, better Jesse, so that I can make a bigger, better contribution to the evolution of life itself. This is me. I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say. We don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. Oh, when the sharpest words wanna cut me down, gonna send the flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, and look out, cause here I come. In the marching notes of the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me, oh. Sing it with me if you know it. Sing, oh, 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 oh. Well, another round of bullets hits my skin. Won't fire away, 'cause today I won't let that shame sink in. We are bursting through the barricades and furious when the sharp and the words wanna cut me down. I'm gonna settle the flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me, look out, 'cause here I come. I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me, oh. Sing, oh. Oh, 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 sing, oh. Sing, oh. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood of love and drown them out. I am brave and bruised, who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, here we come. We are marching to the beat we drum. I'm not scared to be seen. We make no apologies. This is me. Wow. Sing with me. Oh, 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 oh. Sing, oh, oh. Wherever you are in the world, sing, oh. We've got to be who the Creator created us. We've got to let the love flow. This is me. Oh, oh, sing. Oh, last time sing. Oh, 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 this is me. And Jesse. Thank you, everybody. I love and appreciate you, Gilly. Thank you for having me, Pastor.
Oh my
Appreciate
goodness!
you
Oh
very
my
much.
goodness!
Thanks, Jessica.
Dude, are you just like reeling in like crazy goodness right now? My God, that was powerful, good stuff. The Jessies, thank you, Jesse Campbell. Thank you, our beloved Jessica Dore. We love them. That was awesome. Oh my God, I wish you were here. I'm real patient. I'm super patient, but I'm looking forward to when we're back together again. Yes, I got to admit it, but I've got all the patience in the world because something's percolating. So truly grateful for them, truly grateful for you, and truly grateful for the tithing that you have put through. And as always, at this particular point in our service, it's time to bless our offering. So I'm going to invite you again. You can go to soulcenteroc.com and you can hit on that donate button. You can text to donate. It should be in the feed there. And anytime, and you don't have to wait. You can go to our website any day of any week. You can text to donate anytime. And like I said, you can do it on auto tithe if you prefer. It really helps us to have a bank record that shows consistent giving on a regular basis. Just putting it out there. We are saying yes to thriving individually and collectively, because if we're thriving, we're asking you to thrive. That's what we're doing, and that's why we bless our offering. We bless it because we move into the vibrational field, the prayer field of expansion and gratitude, because gratitude expands. And so we are truly grateful for this service, grateful for the Jessies, grateful for the music, grateful for the offering, grateful to know that we are saying yes to a greater and grander vision and version of our lives than ever before, that we say yes to being pulled by the passion that lifts us and thrives us. We thrive in goodness, we thrive in prosperity, we thrive in wellness, we thrive in cooperation, we thrive in joy, and we give thanks for it all, and we simply let it be. Amen. And I think we're getting ready to do our closing song. I don't know, we're doing something. We're doing Okay, we're doing a new closing song today, Blessed Always. And I'm going to invite you to go ahead and grab, if the kids are in the other room, get them in there. Come on, join us. We're going to have the Jessies come back and close us out.
Thank you, Reverend. Well, I wanted to render what a song that blesses me every time I sing it, every time I hear it. And this is one of the things that really drew me back to agape, which is blessed always. So, blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant, and we rest in God and say amen, say amen. One more time, blessed, blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be, let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Soul Center. We love you. Thank you.